Hey, looks like we are good. So, if you can see me, if you can hear me, please set the thumbs up in the YouTube chat, and I will know we can start. Yeah, but it should be good. YouTube says excellent connection. My studio says excellent connection, so looks like we are good. Yeah, we can now. Hi, Cedric. Hey, Cedric. When are you going to vacation? Shouldn't you be off already? Good. So, welcome to Cassandra Certification Workshop, or I would better say Cassandra Certification Training. um, Looks like today's YouTube chat is going to be fun, and that's amazing. So, maybe you know already, maybe you don't know, but DataStax, an amazing company I work at, uh, sponsors your NoSQL education and certification. So you can get your NoSQL training and then become a certified developer or administrator on your choice completely for free. You know what? There is no free fruits. You still have to pay a lot of efforts because it's a serious investments. It's not just you go get your certification. No, you have to pass the exam, and this exam is serious. It's proctored, it's controlled. If you are ready to work hard, you have nothing to worry about. You will make it. And today I will help you. So, few steps beforehand. I am Alex Volishnev, developer advocate lead at DataStax, and I work a lot in the field of distributed systems, distributed databases. I'm a fan and developer of different open source solutions. I'm a cloud certified architect, but most of all, I'm an IT exorcist. And IT exorcist is someone who mm, makes different bad things in IT and software development disappear. And one of the worst thing I see in the software development all the time, then people are using wrong tools in the wrong place, or even they're maybe using right tools, but in the wrong way. I'm here to make that not happen. I'm here to make you uh, to be efficient and successful using the right tools in the right moment to do the right job. So focus on all the materials we have today, all the materials we talk today is published at DataStax Academy workshop Cassandra certification on GitHub in case you will need them later. And first, few steps. What is Apache Cassandra? Because obviously, if you going to become certified in one of the most powerful NoSQL technologies, obviously you need to know what is it. Apache Cassandra is one of the most powerful NoSQL, any kind of a databases in the world. Doesn't matter if we talk about relational or NoSQL databases, it's still, I believe, one of the most powerful and efficient databases what can work at incredibly high scale. It's ready for big data. So you can handle hundreds petabytes with Cassandra and it will be totally fine. At some point, normal relational databases will start to get a problem. They can't handle too much data. They start to choke. And it doesn't happen with Cassandra. If you do the things right, and our training will make you do the things right. It delivers highest availability. We use it to say high availability, but I believe you can reach the highest possible availability with Apache Cassandra. It provides great geographical distribution, which is very important for the companies who run international businesses, companies like Apple, Netflix, Instagram, Facebook, many others, basically all the companies what have clients worldwide, they need to have this geographical distribution, which is very hard with most of the traditional database solutions. Also, read-write performance. Do you like to wait for a web application you are using to answer for a few seconds? I believe you don't. Neither do I. So we want our data to be very fast. Doesn't matter if your application is fast or slow, if your database is slow, your clients will get your answers slowly, and then they get slow answers. They do what? They go to your competitor. So we don't want it happen. So Cassandra is incredible. Not only work with big data, many databases can work with big data. That's not in use, but Cassandra can do it in a very, very fast, performant way. So even with petabytes of data, you still get your answer within milliseconds. Now, obviously, zero downtime for all the operations like adding a node, removing a node, scaling out, scaling in, updating your database, maybe bringing on some security patches. There is zero downtime on all the iterations because of the distributed, decentralized nature of this database. And finally, what really matters for a lot of companies, it's vendor independent. Well, DataStax does a lot to develop Cassandra, of course, to grow the community, but we don't own Apache Cassandra because it belongs to Apache Software Foundation. Maybe you know them already, maybe you don't, but for sure you use their products. If you ever heard about Kafka, Maven, Groovy, many other projects, they all delivered by Apache Cassandra. Hadoop is also Apache project, as well as many hundreds actually of open source community projects. So Cassandra is vendor independent. It doesn't belong to any commercial company, but only to open source, non-commercial, non-profit open source foundation. So that matters for many, many, many companies. This session will take somehow 90 to 120 minutes, but you can drop earlier if you won't have time because the most important things will happen in the first hour. And second part of this training will be a demo of an exam. I'm asking questions, you are giving answers. In the end, I tell you how much points did you score it, and if it would be a real exam, if you would pass or not. So Cassandra scales horizontally and linearly. One of the best features of a Cassandra is what it's able to scale nearly till without any borders. If you need more volume or if you need higher performance, you just have to add more servers, simple as that. And then Cassandra digests that. There are nearly no manual operations, or at least very small amount of manual operations in comparison with other databases. Cassandra is distributed everywhere. It's kind of a trademark of Cassandra already. Can you have multi-data center deployments, geographically distributed deployments with other databases? Yes, it's possible. But usually these kind of deployments is one master data center, one secondary data center, and you can write data only to primary data center, only to master data center. You cannot write data to the second one. It's only for reads, right? With Cassandra, it's not the thing because Cassandra is decentralized. And boom, before of this distributed decentralized nature, you can have your databases, data centers everywhere, building up a single cluster working together. Also, Cassandra is platform agnostic. So it doesn't matter if you want to use Microsoft Azure, Amazon Web Services, or Google Cloud, or all of them at once together in a single cluster. It's totally possible. That doesn't matter for us. You will get it running. Now, why should I care? Let's take a look at the thing. Biggest companies use Cassandra. For example, Apple at our conference in year 2019, so 2 years ago, reported what they have dedicated running only for Cassandra, 150,000 servers. That sounds even a bit scary, you know? And they do tens of millions of queries per second. So that's really a lot. It's not tens millions of operations to the application. It will be actually much, much, much more, but tens of millions of queries per second to the database. And that's very different thing. At your application layer, you may have some caching, you may have some different workloads, but the database, don't forget, big data working very fast, That's a very cool use case, and that's a very cool business to participate. Not only in Apple, one of the biggest Cassandra developers is Netflix, and Netflix uses Cassandra for 98% of all the data they stream at all. And they have many clusters, they have hundreds of clusters, and most active of them handles 30 million operations per second. So as you see, Cassandra makes successful business able to achieve what they want, scaling worldwide, globally. And of course, many others. You use Instagram, you already use Cassandra. Uh, Activision, Blizzard, and many, many other companies are running using Cassandra. By the way, if you are interested in Netflix use case, we have a full recording, publish it. You can get it at datastacks.io, Cassandra at Netflix. But you know what? That's not only the thing. Amount of digital data in the world will only grow and it will grow exponentially. So beforehand, if you run a small to medium business, you usually go with MySQL, you usually go with PostgreSQL, and so on. Then you go with a bigger business, you usually go with Oracle or companies like that. But now you need a real scale, what Cassandra can deliver. Real scale not bound to any particular commercial company what can try to monetize it at some moment, but just something what you can trust, like Cassandra. So currently, by the estimations of IDC, they did a great research ordered by Seagate. Maybe you know Seagate. They produce great disk drives. So amount of data, digital data in the world now is estimated to be somewhere around 80 to 100 circa zettabytes. Uh, Zettabytes. But you know what? It will double over next few years. Basically, every year we create more and more digital data, and some of them, of course, are videos and pictures, but some of them also are digital data you store into a database. This amount will only grow, and more world will need more and more and more qualified developers, and you can easily become one of them soon. Um, hey, gentlemen, do we have any good questions there? Should I answer something? No, looks like we are good. Let's move on then. Which certification I should get? The answer is there are two primary certifications, administrator certification and developer certification. So one is going to be Apache Cassandra certified developer, and second one certified administrator. Difference is very simple. If you're a programmer, then you mostly probably have to go with a developer certification. If you are more on the maintaining and running things and operations teams, then obviously administrator certification can be better fit for you. But you know what? With us, you can make two of them to stay more on the DevOps side of things. What resources do I have? Well, you have plenty of the resources to get ready. All the rules, all the important things, the flow of the certification and preparation for the certification is published on our website at datastacks.com/dev/certifications. It's a very good place to start. This training, with all the resources, links, preparation questions, and many others, is published at GitHub on DataStax Academy Workshop Cassandra Certification. And finally, the place number one to get ready is our massive online free on course at the academy.datastacks.com. Again, it's free. So you will have to put a lot of time into that to get ready, but definitely worth it. Now, to chat, I suggest using our Discord server available at datastacks.io/discord. And then for asking more formal questions, is a very good place to ask is the community.datastacks.com. Also, great book by our colleague Jeff Carpenter, Cassandra: The Definitive Guide, recently revised third edition, accordingly to the updates of Cassandra version 4, which was published earlier this year. Then This one is important. We get data modeling is very important. If you do your data model wrong, you may have a lot of problems in production and we don't want it to happen. So what you need to know, we have published typical data models explaining how do you develop it right at datastacks.com/learn/data modeling by example. And this is great place to get ready for the exam because some of those examples will be used on the exam. You see, I open you some secrets of the exam because you are the best, you are attending our trainings. How do I get ready? First step, go to academy.datastacks.com and sign up, it's free. Follow the learning path, either the administrator certification or developer certification. They have the same foundation course, DS101, DS201, both. But then it's a little bit different. Second part of a developer learning path will have data modeling course, and second part of administration learning path will have administrator's course. Frankly speaking, if you have time, I recommend you to take both of them. It will add some time, but it really makes you understand better how it works, and then you understand better in your team, on your project, what you really work on, and then you are the one who are going to be promoted to the next one if you know more than all your colleagues. So it's worth that. Get your exam voucher. Maybe you have it already from our previous workshops. If you don't worry. The idea is very simple. After completing a learning path, you write an email to the academy@datastacks.com and you will get your voucher for free. With this voucher, first prepare for the exam, read the rules at datastacks.com/dev/certifications. I will speak about the rules a little bit afterwards. Pass certification training. It will be a short one, like showing how exactly the training, how exactly the exam looks like. And then take your exam and enjoy. You are the winner. If you put enough efforts into your preparation, you will make it, I promise you. Now, regarding the rules, exam is serious, exam is proctored. We don't want, you see, we want your certificate to be really valuable. So companies hiring you see what, yeah, they know this certificate matters a lot. What people are really know what they're doing. Therefore, we have very solid protection from people who want to get certificates for free without spending any real effort to learn to get their knowledge. No, we don't want cheaters to get their certificate. So it's a proctored exam. First, it's a closed book exam, no reference materials, no paper, no electronic, nothing is allowed. Live proctor will watch you through the exam, so obviously you will need a webcam. Exam area should be clear. No papers, no devices, no materials. If you have multiple screens like I do, you will have to switch off all of them except one, of course. No programs, no browser windows is open. No screenshots, no photography, any other means of copying or recording any part of the exam is totally forbidden. You will need a small mirror available, so Proctor, so you can show with this mirror what's behind your webcam. But actually, in my case, when I took this exam, it was easier. They just asked me to turn the webcam and show the room to them. So if you have a detachable webcam, you can remove it and show your room. Or also, you may, if you have a laptop, you can just turn your laptop. Not a big deal. Very important thing. If you, by the way, I totally forget about that, and I forgot to clean up my room, so it was a little bit messy. It was bad feeling for me when Proctor told me to show the room to him, and it was not really cleaned up. So don't be like me if you care about that. Now, computer must have only one screen with no additional monitors. It's said already. Proctor will report any incidents. Make sure you follow the guidelines, but do not worry. I mean, we are not your enemies, right? We are your friends, and Proctor is your friend. He is just securing the value of a certificate. So, for example, during the exam, you are not allowed to drink or eat. I completely forget about that, so I took water, I started to drink, and Proctor made an incident, but it's not a big deal because a single incident is not a problem. It's a problem when you are trying to sneak some information from a book or something. Single incident is not a problem. I got two incidents during my exam. One was I started to drink. You are not allowed. And second was I started to read. When I think a lot, I start to talk sometimes with myself, and you are not allowed to talk because you can use it. You can use your voice to read the questions to someone who will give you some hints. It's obviously not allowed as well. So incidents is not a problem by itself. If you're not trying to cheat, you will be good. Don't worry. Then confirm your identity. Prepare to display a valid government-issued photo ID. The expiration date is viewable. Preferably, it's a passport, travel passport, maybe driver license. And now, no food or water is allowed during the exam. It's available. Exam is 90 minutes, and that's not really a lot of time because you will have a lot of questions. My personal recommendation, if you're stuck on some question, just switch to next one. Yeah, sometimes when you are nervous because of the exam, you can totally stuck on a single question. Uh, and it may take, I don't know, 15 minutes maybe to answer that. Instead of it, just skip it, go fix, then go answer the next one, and get back to it if you will have time in the end. This is important. Now, what's next? Yeah, timer is displayed, so you see how much time left. If you experience power outage or any kind of a network disruption, you will have 20 minutes to access the exam back. No report or feedback or correct, incorrect answer details will be provided. We have to keep it secret so others won't be able to cheat again. Sasi asks, how do we get certificate voucher? I just told it. If you pass learning path, when you pass learning path at academy.datastacks.com, you get your voucher. Just write an e-message to academy@datastacks.com. Okay. Так, I'm done with the right. And that means what we can start the most interesting part of this workshop, demo exam on DS. There will be three parts. First one is done, first third is done on based on the course DS 201, which is the same for both developers and administrators. Second part will be done on the content of DS 210, 210, which is for administrators. And the last part, based on DS 220, which is again developers data modeling. But data modeling is highly important. I recommend even administrators to take this course. It's totally worth it. So, how do we do that? How do we run the test exam so you can measure your knowledge and if you're ready or not ready? Very easy. Please go to, where is my, yeah, please go to menti.com. Vladislav asks how many attempts in the voucher. In the voucher are 2 attempts. Can you hear me? Hey, 1, 2, 3. Something with my network? Okay. Okay, looks like I'm back. Sorry, don't know what's going on, but no. Okay, so I should be online back. I'm back online. Live stream looks like, yeah. The problem is my network works well, so looks like it's something with YouTube, which is weird. Scheiße. Okay, looks like it's all green now. I don't know what was bad, but we are back online. Thank you for staying. I see nearly no one quit. That's amazing. So now we can start. So how do we do this training exam? I don't know how much of my words did you miss in the end. You go to menti.com. You don't have to sign up. It's completely anonymous. You enter the code 14964806 or just scan the QR code next to me. I will ask questions and you will answer them using Menti. And we will see in the end how many of you give the right answers. And oops, that's wrong side. So let me see how many people join it already. Hey, I see a lot of people join it. And by the way, before we are starting countdown, because we will have some countdown, um, I ask you how much experience do you have with Apache Cassandra? Make yourself familiar with Menti. I see there is a person who never used it, two persons never used that. That's totally fine. With our trainings, you will make a good associate level specialist working it, and you will feel comfortable. And by the way, even with just the trainings, you will already know much more than many people what are using Cassandra without passing the trainings, because they're just trying to use that in a traditional relational database way without knowing the difference, and they very often run into troubles. So you will be better than that. Okay, let's. FedEx, I see stream is perfectly green on my side. So if you still have something, maybe it's on yours. Let me see. Now, next question. Have you been to any of our workshops before? Yes. Okay. No. For newcomers, if you've never been at our workshops before, we have great series of workshops done weekly on the very different interesting topics. So don't forget to hit like and subscribe button on the YouTube. It's going to be very useful for you. And thank you. So we can start. Now I will read the questions and you will try to answer them. And that's going to be question number one. You know what, guys? I will read you the first question, give you time to think, and meanwhile, restart my router, internet connection router. So maybe it will help if a problem is on my side. I'm not totally sure problem is on my side, but let's start, and I will restart in between. Question number 4, question from the course 201 for both developers and administrators. Consider the following SQL statements. Create table, roller coaster, name text, park text, rating in, primary key, name as a primary key. You are executing. Okay, I will restart router. Don't worry, let's first focus on the question. Focus on the question, you can read it. We are executing 4 insert statements. Insert in the roller coasters, name, park, rating, Millennium Force, Cedar Point 8, Formula Rossa, Ferrari World 9, Steel Dragon, Nagashima 10, Millennium Force, Cedar Point 7. Question. How many rows will the roller coasters table have after executing all the SQL statements? I start Mentium. You answer. Please answer using Mentium. And meanwhile, I will restart my router. So I will be back in a moment. Hey. Hey, looks like I'm back online. Give me a moment. Sorry, guys, I don't know what's happening with my internet today, but it's okay. Looks like it was router because now it's much better. So, right answer was C, but why? Let's take a look. Next slide give us the answer. Yeah, now it should be good. Take a look. In this case, our primary key consists only of one part, which will be obviously the partition key, right? And partition is everything. So notice the duplication, Millennium Force and Millennium Force here and there, as the primary key is defined only based on the name. Every next insert will replace information of a previous insert. It's so-called absurd behavior. So first and third inserts use the same primary key. First and four, right? First and four inserts use the same primary key, so we cause an absurd. Don't worry, you will see the upcoming questions. Yes, I was reloading, that's why you didn't see the previous question. So now let's see. Question number 2, and I will keep this one during your answer time. Question is, consider the following SQL statements. Hey guys, that's not a real exam. You won't get certified after this one. So if you lost your points, it's not a big deal, don't worry. So create table songs, artist, title, length in seconds, and primary key, artist, title. And now we execute following statements. Insert into songs, artist, title, length songs, Beatles, yesterday, blah, 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 Beatles, let it be, blah, 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 Abba, Fernando, blah, 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 Frank Sinatra, yesterday, blah, blah, blah. What is the result of executing all of those SQL statements? Table with a single partition, table with two partitions, table with three partitions, table with four partitions. I'm launching next question. Question 2 of 20. Let's go. And here your question. Looks like connection is good again, which makes me happy. So, table with one partition, two partitions, three partitions, four partitions. What do you think? What will be the right answer? By the way, I want to open Menti as well. So give me a moment. I want to see the code. Oops. It's here. 1496, 1496, 4806. Okay, shiny. I want to see then the time is over. By the way, if all of you are giving the answers, question will be answered earlier, so we don't all have to wait till the very end. So important thing here is to see how the partition is built and what forms partition key. I see Vinod Kumar answers A with one partition, and that's a little bit doubtful to me because here we have three different artists with overall four different songs, and partition key doesn't look like something single with a single partition. So what it will be, we are almost out of time for this question. By the way, answer time makes you feel like what's the very possible. Maybe Viking is right. Maybe not. Yeah. So right answer D. That's the right answer. And let's take a look why. Take a look. In this case, partition key is decided. Its partition key is defined by the first argument of a primary key. And here, because of the parentheses, that both artist and title will be parts of a partition key. Therefore, we will have two parts defining artist and title, right? Beatles, yesterday, Beatles, let it be. It makes despite the artist is the same, but still two different partitions because song name is different. Now, ABBA and Frank Sinatra obviously give a different partitions. So answer D, table with four partitions. Let's take a look at the next question, and I will start countdown already. Question number 3, it started. Developer and administrator exams. Consider the following SQL statement. Create table cars. Again, no, network looks good. Uh, so network is good on my side, sorry. I don't know what's going on. Streaming software reports what we are good. But anyway, time is ticking, so let's take a look. Following SQL statement. Table cars, primary key, make, model, years, color. Which of the following is a valid query for the cars table? There are valid queries and not valid, no, invalid queries. Which one is valid? You need to know limitations of SQL. We have 30 seconds left. Oops. 10 seconds left. Most of you gave the answer already. And 5 last seconds. Think fast. Which statement is correct? And time is over. And the correct answer is C, not D. But take a look. Most of you made it right, avoiding wrong answers A and B. And this is good. Now let's take a look what's wrong with them. Take a look. When we executing a SQL query, we always must specify all parts of a partition key. In this case, make and model. And therefore, just make Ford is not valid because we don't specify model. Color, year and color invalid because we don't specify make and model at all. C specifies Ford, Mustang, and year. So Ford, Mustang, and year. Therefore, C is a valid answer. We can skip color, it's not a problem. But take a look here. Ford Mustang red. Also a nice car, right? But take a look. It's going to be Ford Mustang and color. And that is a problem already. Why? Because this color is a second clustering column. And if you specify a second clustering column, you must specify the previous one. So statement D would be correct if you say it like, select all from cars we make Ford, model Mustang, and year 1969, and color red. Then it's valid. But without here, just by color, it's invalid. And answer to Viking, yes, totally. Those questions are same level as the certification exam. My only question is if you think it's too hard or too soft, let's say. Good. Next question. Okay, I explained it all already. Next question, and I'm starting downtime. I'm starting count. Okay. Before starting countdown, let's see who is the best. And we have 3 persons who made it all right. Maverick, Croc, and Ribbit. Those are nicknames. Maybe you will replace them with your real names if you want. If you don't want, it's totally fine as well. So now we start countdown. And I give you the question. Consider the SQL statement: employees, ID, name, department, and primary key of a single ID. And create table employees by department: ID, name, department, with department and ID of a primary key. Begin batch. Insert into employees something, insert into employees by department, same values. Apply batch. Question: what is a valid statement about this batch? A. It's a single partition batch what can be applied. B. It's a single partition batch what cannot be applied. C. It is a multi-partition batch what can be applied. D. It's a multi-partition batch what cannot be applied. Time is ticking. So what do you think? Uh, what do you, Pradnya, there is no, Menti is not set for this one, but I will copy a link for you. So, hey, Ellison, jump in, try to answer questions. We have 10 seconds left for this question. So, oh, yeah, it's already started. It started actually 55 minutes ago. Oh, no worries. You are good. It's just the question number 4, so you will join the next question. So let's take a look at the answer. Right answer is C, multi-partition batch, what can be applied. Now, let me see the answers distribution. A, B, C. Okay, that went not really smooth. Let's take a look what's wrong and why C is the right answer. So take a look. It's a single partition batch what can be applied. It's a single partition batch that cannot be applied. What's wrong with those statements? Take a look, ladies and gentlemen. We insert values into two different tables. By no means partition can be shared across multiple tables. Of course, it's for two different partitions because it's to two different tables. There is no way to handle one partition across to multiple tables. So it's two partitions batch, and it's totally valid. So it can be applied. If you gave the answers A or B, it's the wrong one. Okay, so um, looks like there is something with schedule. If you join us just right now, then don't worry. Uh, in the beginning, I told you how do you get ready for the certification exam because DataStax sponsors your education and certification for NoSQL, for Apache Cassandra database, one of the most powerful databases in the world. So you definitely may want to get this certification. And in the beginning, I just told you how do you get ready, and now we run training exam. I see some people are late. So it's recorded. Now jump in, answer questions, and afterwards, just watch the beginning of the talk, like first 30 minutes. There were some quite important information. Good. So I start question number 5. All answers give maximum points, and it started. And let's see the question number 5. Consider the table definition with a primary key, a method. Create table, reviews by restaurant. Name, city, review, rating, comments, review date, primary key. It's known what? Restaurant review are uniquely identified by a combination of name, city, and review. Restaurant reviews are retrieved from table using combination of name and city. And the table has multi-row partitions. What primary key does this table have? So, how it goes? What primary key does this table have? You know what? I think some music won't hurt, so it will be funnier together. If music is too loud, let me know and I will switch it down a bit. Or maybe it's a quiz music for the exam music. We may need something, maybe for the test exam, we need to have something stronger. Tragic, maybe. Many people are scared of exams, but you don't have to be. We are good. Yeah, looks like something wrong was wrong with the time zone conversion. So first of all, you guys, thank you for coming. Second of all, we are in the middle of the process, but don't worry, jump in on Menti. I will send a link again. By the way, we are done. So join Menti, answer questions, and watch the beginning of this training in the end. Right answer was B, and looks like this time it was easy for you. So you guys did great. Let's take a look at the answer. Consider the following definition. We see what restaurant reviews are uniquely identified by a combination of name, city, and reviewer. That gives us a hint what the primary key is going to be name, city, and reviewer. But which part is going to be a partition part and which part is going to be clustering part? We know what restaurant reviews are retrieved from table using combination of name and city. That means what mostly probably name city is going to be the partition key because we always get them. But it still can be just name or just city. But now we know what table has multi-row partitions. That gives us the information what reviewer will be different for the different rows. Thus, answer is B, primary key, partition key, name city, clustering key, reviewer. Now, let's move on. I'm going to give you a next question, launching countdown. Question number 6. So, consider the table definition and SQL query. Create table teams, name text primary key, wins integer, losses integer, ties integer. So basically score of the teams, how teams play. Select all from teams by wins, where wins equals 4. You know what, you cannot run this statement over this table, right? Because first of all, names doesn't match. And second of all, as name text is a primary key, you cannot query data by wins. Now we have to create a materialized view, and which materialized view definition can be used to support the query. Option A, create materialized views if not exist, teams by wins, as select all from teams primary key, name wins. Second is the same but wins name. Third is a little bit different, and fourth is also a little bit different. I will give you some time to think. We have 10 seconds left. 5 few seconds for you to make a decision. And now you can see how it goes. Let me check. Love to be with. Let me check. No, it's green on my side, so this time looks like it's on yours, sorry. My side it's green. Router restart helped. Sorry for this issue. Now, time is over, so let's see. Right answer is D. Not A, not B, not C, but D. It's quite a distribution of the answers today. So let's take a look. First thing, primary key field cannot be null in the where clause. Where clause must include a null check. Then creating materialized views, it's very important. Materialized views is kind of a table, so you cannot in table have a partition key, clustering column with a null. So that's how it goes. Since where clause and the select is based on wins, wins must be the partition key. First, that's clear. And second, you need to check everything from null. So B and C are technically correct from the point of view is not null, is not null, is not null, it's all good, but wins must be the partition key. Good. So, let me check one. It looks green on my side, people. Really like, I can try to reconnect if everyone reports network issues. But streaming software reports what we have very good connection with YouTube, so I doubt it will help. Started after the music was on. Okay, let me switch off the music. I doubt if it has anyhow, if it anyhow stops us, but okay. I will switch off the music. Good. So, I hope now it's clear. It has to be both is not null and wins must be the partition key because we query data using only wins. Now, I'm starting countdown for the next question. Leaderboard. Okay. Let's see how it goes. And looks like Maverick is doing the best. Was it not a single mistake? Good job. And SAP is very close. And I see some people who will make some use of our courses. Luckily, they are free. I see some real names already, or at least YouTube names already. There, it's good. Now I'm going to launch the next question, question number 7. And let's take a look at this question. Consider the table definition and the SQL query. Create table restaurants by city. Name, city, cuisine, price. Primary key will be of city and name. Select all from restaurants by city, where city, Sydney, and cuisine, sushi. Now, first thing you need to notice what we cannot execute this query on this table, despite the name is correct and city partition key is specified, cuisine is not a part of a primary key, therefore we cannot query on that. Good. So it means what we may create a secondary index, what can be used to support the query. So let's take a look. Which secondary index can be used to support this query? And I see you are asking for MentiQuiz. So let me copy a link for you. My Nightbot is not configured for this session. And I will switch. I will switch back to question. Okay, looks like I'm the Nightbot now. I am answering, I am bringing the link when you ask. So, well, let's move on. I guess time is over. And there are quite some options. but not so many good answers, only 6 out of 20. That's quite interesting. Let's take a look what was wrong. First thing, very simple. B, C, D, all are wrong because you can create indexes only on single column at once. So you can have multiple different indexes. It's okay, but single index include only one column, simple as that. Um, for those who just joined XYZ, yes, you can totally go over again at a later time. It won't be live, of course, but you can do it, yes. Okay, so next question. I'm launching countdown and let's switch. Question number 8. Which statement describes where clause in a query? Where clause must reference all the fields of a partition key. B. Where clause must reference all the fields of a clustering key. C. Where clause must reference all the fields of a primary key. D. Where clause must reference all the fields of a partition key and clustering key. So what do you think which answer is right? So, which statement is correct? Only one is correct, by the way. If it's not obvious, I will help you. Which statement describes the where clause in a query correctly? So, let's see how you did. We have few more seconds. Time is over. And we see what most of you decided what the right answer is A, and most of you were totally right. Let's take a look why. Where clause must reference all the fields of a partition key. You not must reference all the fields of a clustering key, and you not must answer reference all the fields of a whole primary key. That's not necessary. What's really required is to reference all the fields of a partition key. That's right. Okay. So 16 people made the right answer. That's a good job. Question number 9. We are getting to the middle. Consider the following statements. Create type name, first text, last text. Create table people, ID, name, email, primary key of ID and email. Which insert statement can be used to insert a row in the people table? This is the question on UDT knowledge. UDT as a user-defined type. And user-defined type is something what you can create like we do here. Create type name of some values, and you can insert it somehow into the database. So how do you insert it into the database exactly? Half time is over. Let me see how are you doing. How many answers? 9 answers already given. 10 answers already given. That's good. That's good. I want to see now the results. I want these results to be good. And I'm all curious how you will make it. So, how it goes for us? Time is over 5 plus seconds, and now we will see who is right and who is wrong. So, it's split 9 on A, 9 on D. and 5 and 3 answers on B and C. Let's take a look at the right answer. Right answer is A. Insert into people, UUID, then JSON, then your email. The story is fields of UDT are passed using JSON. It's very simple. I believe most of you are more or less into web development. At least that's very often happens at our workshops. And you see how we assign the name. Name is foobar using JSON. Very simple. Last answer, oh, sorry, just JSON. Uh, D answer is wrong because it's not JSON. And obviously this way is wrong because you will have 3 arguments expected, but 4 given. That's obviously an exception. Okay, so how it goes on this side. Maverick, Sub, Skids, very good job. Yeah, this gets higher. Maverick keeps the first place with no mistakes, I believe, or maybe one. Um, so, Skids, familiar name. I believe you attended our workshops before. And that's going to be question 10. So, I'm launching the countdown and showing you the question. Consider the following SQL statements. Create table emails by user for username, email description, nickname with primary key of username and email. Notice the parentheses. And when we insert some data, emails by user, doing 2 insert statements, 1 update statement, and when we select data. So, question is, what is the result of executing those SQL statements? A, B, C, or D? Notice, first we create table when we do 2 inserts, when we do 1 update, and when we do 1 select. We select what it will show to us. You have not so much time left. Maybe 10 seconds left. On the exam, it's not like that, by the way. You can choose the question. Now, because we are using Menti, we stick to one question. But on the real exam, you can just switch to next one and then get back to this one later. So it's done. Let's take a look at the right answer. Oops. Just a second. Right. So take a look. Username is a partition key and email is a clustering column. Because email is a clustering column, the table has 1 partition with 2 rows. Nickname field is static, so it was set to Davy for the entire partition. You must be, I want to see the results actually, by the way. Yeah, only 5 people made it right. It's quite hard question because you need to know how static field works. And take a look how static field works. Here we set nickname as Dave. Here we set nickname as Dave. When we do update, set nickname Davey for particular row, username and email. And you may think, obviously, what Davey will be updated for one and only row, but it's not like that. Static is means what all of the rows of this partition share the value of this column. Therefore, when we do this update, we get it daily for all of them. So first, it will have 2 rows because email is a clustering column, that's obvious. And second, both of them will have nickname Davy because nickname is a static column. That's important to understand. So I'm really curious about what not so many people made it. But okay, we explain it all well on our courses, so you will be good. Now I'm launching the next question, and let's see that. It's architecture exams, and the question is: consider two data centers in this diagram. Tokyo DC has 6 nodes, and 2 of them are failed, and 4 of them are active, and replication factor of 3. Paris DC has 4 nodes, 1 failed, 3 active, and replication factor of 3. What is a valid statement about a read request made at consistency level of local quorum, which was received by coordinator node Z in Paris DC? So our query at the consistency level of local quorum goes to coordinator node Z in Paris DC. The replication factor 3 and 1 node is on fire. Maybe it was stolen by aliens. Maybe it's under because of a shark attack. Well, no, things like that usually happen in the United States, and Paris must be quite a more quiet place. So request will be handled in data center Paris DC and will fail. Request will be handled in data center Paris DC and will succeed. Request will be retried in data center Tokyo DC and will fail. Request will be retried in data center Tokyo DC and will succeed. That's a great question. I just love it. Time is over. So let's take a look on what's going on with the answer. Right answer is B. Request will be handled in local data center Paris DC and it will succeed. First, let's decide why it will be executed at Paris DC level. Because consistency of a local quorum. And if coordinator node, if coordinator node for this query, if query coordinator for this query is Z in Paris DC, it means what Paris DC is local to this query. Very simple. So as a result, it will be executed here. Now, local quorum with consistency level 3 requires 2 nodes to be available out of 3. And 1 node is down, but 3 are available. That means what for every piece of data, our data center is highly available and we can retrieve data in any moment of the time. Simple as that. What's going on with the Tokyo DC doesn't matter for us because Tokyo DC is just ignore it in this case because it's going to be a local quorum for read, right? So we don't care if there are all servers are down or Tokyo DC not available at all. This query will be executed. If, and notice very important thing, if 2 nodes will be down, like X and W, if 2 nodes are down, will the answer be right or wrong? 50-50. There is a chance. It depends on which servers are replica servers for this piece of data we are requesting. For example, if X, Y, and Z are replica servers for the data we are requesting, and X and W are down, then we can get our data because we have 2 nodes out of 3 available. Replication factor is 3, you remember? But if, for example, server Y and W are down and data is replicated on Y, Z, and W, that means what 2 servers out of 3 are not available and quorum will require 2. And we will have only 1, therefore we will get an exception. Desired consistency level cannot be reached. In theory, you can try to decrease consistency level to 1 and repeat this query, but it may be a dangerous scenario because in this case, you sacrifice your consistency for your high availability. And for some kind of data, it can be a perfectly valid scenario. But for some kind of data, you don't want it to happen. So in general, rollback to get down is a bad idea. Now, let's see how many of you made the right answer. Oh, nearly everyone. And I see XYZ is asking code, and code is on the screen 14964806. Boom. And I just pasted the link. Actually, I did it last time when I was asked, but doesn't matter. So, most of you made it. Looks like it was a simple question. Good. Then let's start the next question. Maybe it will be harder for you. Question number 12. So, here we go. Consider those SQL traces. At what elapsed time is the data persisted? So what it will survive an unexpected node shutdown? 690 microseconds, 1834 microseconds, 2193 microseconds, or 2966 microseconds. Those are Cassandra logs on the node what received this request and executing that. And there is a time elapsed. And there are some changes happening. And the question is, at what moment of the time the data will be persisted so it will survive an unexpected node shutdown? There are two. Okay, I don't want to distract you. I will shut up. I will tell it to you in few moments when you will answer this question already. Casey, better answer in Menti. Don't give them suggestions. Maybe there are some people in doubts, so don't give hints. It's a test exam. You won't help anyone anyway. Time is almost over. Time is almost over. Okay. So, looks like time is over. So let's take a look at what's going on. Menti not working for you. Oh, I'm sorry. Usually it works. Yeah. Okay, shit happens. So let's take a look. Right answer is C, 2193 microseconds, because data is persisted on disk at the moment when it's appended to commit log. After that, it can survive unexpected node shutdown. So that's very important to understand. It's not on time when request complete. It's not on time when adding to mem table. It's on moment appending to commit log data is persisted. If your table is created with default settings, because in theory, you can create a table with persistent writes false. And in this case, correct answer would be D. Well, actually not even D, but on the flush time. But it's going obviously to be a very bad idea. If link doesn't work, okay, just use the code then. What I can say. Such a day, nothing works. It's Monday. No, it's not Monday, Tuesday. I thought it's Monday, like the rough day, but Tuesday should be fine already. Okay, now two very important things what will help you on the exam. First, notice that you may need to scroll to see the entire trace. That means what in some cases, logs are so wide, you have to scroll to the left or to the right, not top down too. I mean, people usually guess what you have to scroll top down, but also left, right, and top down as well. That's the first thing. You may need to scroll logs to find. Second one, take a look. In this case, those logs are all from the same server. In some cases, you will see the logs from multiple servers. Those will have different IP addresses. It's very easy to get lost in that because you may have, for example, queries getting to 3 different servers. Therefore, you will have 3 different IP addresses. So it's very easy to get lost. So focus on at which time, at which node something happens. That's important. It's a distributed system after all. And you may be like, okay, distributed systems make things so hard. That's right. But you know what? It's not for nothing. It's for the power. Really powerful things always require some dedication when you learn things. But when you will master it, you will realize it's totally worth it. Good. So, how it goes? Most of you made it. Developer and administrator exam answer C. Most of you made it. Very good job. And I'm launching the next question, question number 13. How is replication factor configured in Cassandra? Per cluster, per key space, per operation, per node. This question must be totally easy for you. I hope let's all give a vote so we don't have to wait for 90 seconds. If all participants vote, when we don't have to wait till the very end of the time. So if you know what's the right answer, then give it. If you don't know, then just click a random button. And so we will get our answer right now. Thirty seconds left. If you didn't answer by now, just click the random button, seriously. Don't try to guess. It's a test exam. It's not a real exam. You know, you won't get certified if you give the right answers right now. If you give the wrong answers, also no consequences. So it's a great time to practice. 10 seconds left. So time is up. Right answer is obviously B. Replication factor is specified for key space. Of course, of course. So, oops, wrong button. Yep. Not per cluster, because in cluster you may have multiple key spaces with the data of different importance. For example, same application can store some temporary data, what you can afford losing, but meanwhile, some financial data you cannot afford losing. Of course, you want to treat this data differently. This data is of different priority. So, of course, you want to be able to configure different replication factors for it. So you configure replication factor per key space, and all the tables in this key space will share the same setting. But within cluster, you can have key spaces of different replication factor from 1 to whatever you may want to have, but usually we don't recommend to go higher than 3 or 5 in the worst case. So, what's on the leaderboard? Take a look. Looks like Maverick did a mistake. That's a surprise. Now, Maverick and Sap are sharing the same score, 11 right answers. AH and Brown the Broken again share the third, fourth place with 9,000 points, and Not a Maverick has 8,000 points together with this. Good. One right answer give you 1,000 points. So, well, let me start next questions. Next questions, 5 questions going to be administrators questions. I'm starting countdown and showing you the question. What are 2 options for internode encryption in Cassandra? Choose 2. Please notice what that's an administrator exam. So you won't get this answer, you won't get this question, sorry, if you are taking a developer exam. But still, better to know. What are 2 options for internode encryption in Cassandra? Client, node, reg, enable it, DC. You have to pick 2. Again, if you all will give answers, and In On our exam platform, you can pick two answers, but on Menti you can pick only one. So both right answers are marked as right, and three not right are marked as wrong, of course. So uh, you will get like voted already immediately after picking one. Don't worry if you made the right choice. When you will be good, you will be green. You will get your points. We have quite a competition here already. Quite a lot of people join it. That's cool. So, what are two options for internode encryption in Cassandra? Client, node, rec. Let me see. Time is up. And right answers were C and E, and they gathered most of voice. So looks like you did well. Let's take a look. C is rec and E is DC, because you can specify and set up internode encryption at a rec level, at data center level, because it's internode. Client never communicates in internode mode because client is not a node. Internode is communication only between multiple nodes, not a client. And obviously, there is no sense in the answer B because nodes are communicating between each other, not a node with itself, kind of, right? So, good, very well done. That's question number 15. Let's see what's there. Which configuration file is used to set garbage collection properties for Cassandra? Cassandra YAML, JVM options, Cassandra env.sh, gc.options. Now notice this question is about this exam based on, and this all story belongs to Cassandra version 3, not 4. It may make difference in some scenarios, but now we speak about Cassandra version 3. Which configuration file is used to set garbage collection properties for Cassandra? There are some options. Half of the time is gone. Time flies. So, 10 seconds left. I will show you the answers one more time. But again, don't try to guess if you don't know. That's not a real exam. Just click any button. It will save us some time. Time is up. And right answer is B. Garbage collection setting belongs to Java virtual machine. So therefore, it's configured in Java virtual machine options. It's not a feature or Cassandra per se, but GVM specific properties. Well, well, well. We are getting close to the end. Next question, still administrator exam. Consider the table definition and how a single row is stored in one mem table and two SS tables on a Cassandra node. Create table, tests, ID, test score. Mem table, some data. SS table, some data. And what's the current value for this row? What are the current values for this row? Looks like time is almost over. Yeah, we have 10 seconds left. 25 people voted already. That's quite interesting. What's the current value for this row? That's actually a great question. How understanding of a right answer. So, what's the right answer? Right answer is B. Take a look. First important thing to understand. Mem table and SS table. SS table are persisted files on disk. Mem table is something in memory. Usually, mem table holds the most up-to-date values, and values on SS tables can be outdated. And we have two SS tables. One is older, one is more new. So in this case, data for the row is different. We see what in mem table we have ID 11 timestamp score this one and different values. Then we query for both test and score. So for the all data, it's not a problem. So Cassandra will merge data from different things and it will go and compare. We are looking for ID. ID is 11 in all cases, test and score. And we have a score 75 in mem table. Usually that means what search is over. We get score from the mem table. We don't have to read anything from disk because mem table is newer, so we are good. But for the test, it may be different because test may be indeed different and test will be we see test is not stored in mem table at all. It's totally fine. It means what it wasn't updated recently. But when we have to read it from different SS tables and we see what there is a test English, but here is the test math. That means what at some moment test value was something, maybe English, maybe math, and at some moment it changed. So two different SS tables hold different values for this row. How do we decide which one is right? Very simple, based on the timestamp. Timestamp for test English and score 48, sorry, is 1183, 608, 357, right? And when we have test math with timestamp 1, 2, blah, 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 I may not read any further because it's already clear what this timestamp is bigger than this one. That means what this record is more young. And as a result, last write wins. This as a stable is most up to date. As a result, ID 11, test math, score 75, right answer is B. And now let me see. Most of you made it. You are great. Like, yes, that's very good. I'm launching next question. Leaderboard. Okay, I want to see the leaderboard indeed. Aha. Aha. Okay. There is Maverick and Sap holding the first, sharing the first and second place with the same result, 13 right answers. Bran with a very good result of 12 right answers. AH and Not a Maverick with 11 right answers, and Ves with 10 right answers. So now you see that knowing the basics, the foundations of Cassandra is not enough. This exam requires you to really know some things, but still this is an associate level exam, so you don't have to be a professional expert. You can see by the questions, there is no really tricky questions, really. So I'm launching question number 17. And what is a valid statement about a coordinator node handling a query at consistency level 3? A. Coordinator node sends a direct read request to all replicas. Coordinator node sends a direct read request to 3 replicas. Coordinator node sends a background read repair request to 3 replicas. Coordinator node sends a direct read request to 1 replica and a digest request to 2 replicas. That's also a great question. That requires understanding of how Cassandra works and how well it's optimized. Yeah, it's a good question. I like it. Now I'm all curious about who will make it, how many people will make it right. What about the time left? Okay, time is up. And the right answer is D. Most of you decided between B and D. And let's take a look. B, coordinator node sends a direct request to a free replicas, and D, coordinator node sends a direct read request to one replica and digest request to two replicas. Take a look, that's important. Cassandra is designed to handle huge data at a very, 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 very fast pace, and it's not easy. It requires a lot of internal optimizations. One of my favorite is exactly this one. Uh, by itself, every row usually is not so big, especially if you limit it right, like select this, and that, and not trying to select everything with asterisk. But anyway, when you are moving all those pieces of data all the time in a cluster, it will consume a lot of network for output. It will consume a lot of CPU, a lot of other operations. So it's overall will be a huger pressure on the cluster, and we want our cluster to be efficient. Then you make a read request. So select something from something where blah, blah, blah. And this request reaches one of the nodes. The node the query coordinator will send a direct read request to a single replica, only single one, and digest requests to two replicas. Digest is just like a hash, and it's very small in comparison with data, which sometimes can be quite huge. And when you make a direct read request, it gets values and digest. And from two other replicas, it gets only digests. Then it compares those digests. If all three digests are free, it means what all three nodes store the same value, and we can safely return this value to the client, right? That's easy. So that saves us a lot of effort, not so a lot, not so much for one single request. But again, don't forget, Netflix executes 30 millions queries per second in a single cluster, and they have hundreds of clusters. So 30 millions per second. As a result, this minor optimization looks not so minor anymore, right? Don't move data you don't have to move. By the way, what happens if digests don't match? We will initiate read repair based on the failed digests comparison because some digests looks like don't match others. So data is invalid, and it may lead to reading the whole values from the data from the node which has the most newest value. Okay, so but really, most of you made it, and yeah. Thank you, Vinod. Yes, Rajib, you will get the recording, same link, just when the write is over. So it's going to be question number 18, and we are very close to the end. What is the valid statement about the write made at consistency level, local quorum, against a key space with replication factor of 3? Coordinator node will send a write to one node. Coordinator node will send a write to two nodes. Coordinator node will send writes to three nodes. Coordinator node will send writes to all nodes. We have key space, table of a key space with replication factor 3, and we made a write request at consistency level, local quorum. How many nodes will get a write request? That's an amazing question. I think some of you will get into the trap because there is a trap. Time is almost over. Just few seconds left. Sorry. Yeah, right. So, how interesting. Now you guys who gave answer B will laugh really hard. So 3 persons gave answer A, 12 persons gave answer B, 12 persons gave answer C, and 1 person gave answer D. Let's take a look. D, coordinator node will send writes to all nodes. Come on, people. All nodes can be literally thousands of servers. No, server keeps not all the data of a cluster, but only the range of this data. Otherwise, your servers will soon explode when you handle petabytes of data within a cluster. So no, answer D is totally wrong. Now, answer A is also totally wrong. If we have replication factor of 3, that means what data needs to reach uh, all 3 servers, all 3 replica servers responsible for your data. Answer C is right because write request will be sent to all 3 nodes. Now, what's wrong with the answer B? What nearly half of the audience voted for? They were distracted by local quorum consistency level. But notice, what's the consistency level is really responsible for? Is it responsible for defining how many people store, how many nodes store your data? No, no. Consistency level responsible to define responsible on the amount of acknowledges confirmations we get when we get the answer when data is stored. So it don't mean if you have replication factor of 3 and write and the consistency level 1, it doesn't mean what your data will reach one and only one server. Of course not. Data will be stored to all replica servers, to 3 servers. But when local quorum in this case means what we will wait for the confirmation for acknowledgements of the majority of the replica servers. We have RF3, so replica servers 3, quorum will be 2. It means we will wait for confirmations of 2 servers out of 3, but data will be stored on all of them. And that was a tricky question, right? Yes, right, acknowledgement. We do for the acknowledgements, not to define how many of the servers will store your data, because replication factor defines how many servers will store your data, not a local quorum, not a consistency level. Consistency level defines only acknowledgements. Okay, I just love this question. It's an amazing one. Good. Okay, I explained it all to you. And that's going to be leaderboard. Okay. Oh, Brand didn't make it. Okay. Soup has a clear. Soup is a clear leader now with 15 right answers. Maverick has 14 right answers. H and Brand share the third place with 12 right answers. Not a Maverick is on the fifth place with 11. Ah, okay, not a Maverick and Vest on the share the fifth and sixth places. Good. Well, we have two questions left, and both of them are dedicated to data modeling. But actually, on the exam distribution is a little bit different, so you will have more data modeling questions. Take it seriously. You have to get ready. It's not even about the exam. It's about your real work, because if you fail on the exam, you just lost an attempt of your voucher, and your voucher gives two. But mistake with data modeling and production in the real work may be much more costly. So focus on data modeling. It's important. Question number 19. Consider the Chubotka diagram what captures physical data model for investment portfolio data, given on the left side. What is the primary key and clustering order of a table trades by SD? Trades by ASD. That matters in the end. Choose one of four. Those diagrams may look intimidating, but don't let them fool you. They're actually very friendly, and they have all the required information. And to be successful with Cassandra, of course, you need to know Chubotka notation. I will give you a hint on how do you handle these kind of questions. What will really help you. You don't need 90 seconds. Even 15 seconds should be enough if you know Chubotka notation. Okay, so what about time? Okay, we are done. Hey, right answer is D, and most of you made a mistake. Let's take a look why. Mm-hmm, I see. Now I know why. So take a look. First thing you need to know about those data modeling questions, what include Chabatko diagram. Uh, First thing, they are totally based on our learn data modeling by example. I gave you the link in the beginning. And these learn data modeling by example, let me give you the link again because it's really essential to get ready. Data modeling by example, I will send you a link. A lot of the questions are based on this. So you better read through them to get ready for the exam when you will feel familiar, because those use cases like investment portfolio are reused from where, so it will heavily help you. Second, so first, get ready at data modeling by example. Second, Chibatko diagrams for these use cases, usually pretty big, sometimes very big. But question always, as far as I remember, features only one table out of maybe a dozen of tables. So as a result, we see here what? We talk about table traits by A as D. And we see nope, 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 yes. Then you can simply drop all those tables, ignore them, and focus only on this one. And now you don't try to handle a dozen of tables at once. Within 90 seconds, but you need to handle only one. It's not so big. Now it's much easier, right? Uh, Second thing now, why do answer D is right? Let's take a look. We see here what we have partition K, C arrow, C down arrow, and that's for account, symbol, trade ID. These, some of you know Chibat connotation, some of you don't. You will learn it during getting ready for the exam. But you see, key means partition key. C means clustering column. C means clustering column, obviously. So partition key will be account, symbol, and trade ID will be clustering columns. That's clear. Now we have this account symbol trade, account symbol trade, account trade symbol, account trade symbol. Those three, with those two are wrong order. Order matters. Now we have C and D with account symbol trade ID, account symbol trade ID, where account is a partition key. And those two are clustering columns. Now, why D is right and C is wrong? The point is this arrow, it describes the direction, the sorting order, ascending or descending. And you see, symbol is going to be ascending and trade ID is going to be descending according to the row, according to the arrow. So we see what in C, clustering order by define it in only by trade ID descending, but we need to define it for symbol as well because it's descending by default, and we need to define ascending explicitly. That's why answer D is right. And looks like it was a hard question. So many mistakes. Like those 5 people who gave the right answers, you can be proud of yourself. And people, it's going to be the last question. So soon you will be able to relax. Consider the application workflow diagram for an investment portfolio application. So same use case. Application workflow diagram, data access patterns as described here. Which access patterns are evaluated before an application can evaluate a Q3 2? Only Q1, Q1 and Q2, Q1 and Q3, Q1, Q3, and Q3 1. I believe most of you didn't attend data modeling by example before, and therefore you don't know application workflow diagram. It's fine, we teach it there, but what really matters, if you want to get your certificate, if you want to become a certified NoSQL engineer, if you want to be successful with Cassandra, you must you must attend data modeling methodology, the data modeling course on the academy.datastacks.com. It's free. It's called DS220 Data Modeling for Apache Cassandra. And that's an absolute must for a developer who is going to work with Cassandra. Vinod Kuku expects it to be A. And I'm not totally sure. Okay, time is out. And what's going to be the right answer? Right answer is A. Vinod is totally right. C is wrong, but a lot of people vote for it, and B, D are also wrong. First, let's see what's wrong with B and D. Sorry. A and C. Yes. What's wrong with B and D? Take a look. One of the important features of application workflow diagram are dependencies of the actions, dependencies of the queries. In this case, we are going to execute query 3.2. Query 3.2 means find all trades for an account and date range, order by trade date, descending. And we need to identify the dependencies, which queries must be executed beforehand So we will be able to execute query afterwards. To execute query free to, we have to find all trades for an account and date range order by trade date. We already need to know an account ID. That means what we need to know the account number, and to know account number, we must show investment accounts of a user. But do we have to show all positions in an account? No, of course not. So answer B is wrong. We do not have to execute Q2 in order to execute Q3. You see, they are in parallel. They are not a dependency of each other. They both depend on Q1. Then answer D is wrong because free one is not a prerequisite for free two. They are kind of sub requests. Q free one is not a dependency for free two. It's fine. D is wrong. Now A and C. A lot of people say C, but actually answer is A. Q1 or Q1 and Q3. The point is to execute any query of a Q3 range, free one, free two, free three, free four, free five, we need to know what? All trades for an account, and date range, but we know date range from the customer using the web interface or user interface of the application. So it's not a query to a database. Account, date range, and transaction type. Okay, account, date range, blah, 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 blah. In general, the crucial thing for free two is just an account and date range is given by the application. As a result, we need to know only an account, and we learn account in Q1. So for Q32, the only dependency is the query Q1. If we didn't execute Q1, we cannot execute free two. But first Q1, then Q32. That's what makes the right answer A. Final leaderboard. Who is the winner today? Oh, okay. There are some changes. So SAP made it to be number one over today's training exam with 16 right answers. Very well. Maverick has 15, AH and Vest by 13, Bran and Not a Maverick 12, Viking 10 right answers, and Arturo, Samita, and Camille 9 right answers. Now, what does that mean? Each correct answer was 1,000 points. There are 20 questions. On the exam, passing rate is 70%. If it were a real test, you would need 14,000 points to pass. So people who made it to 14,000, basically Maverick and SAP, wait a second. Oh, okay. Yes, Maverick and SAP are close to make it on the exam. Close, but still have something to learn. Okay. Can you share, please, exact course for data modeling you have referred before? The only thing you need to be referred is the academydatastax.com, and there you have to pick proper learning path, developer or administrator. And data modeling is a part of a developer path. You will find it there. Quick survey to help us. We would love your feedback to make it better next time. What did you like the most? What should we improve for the future workshops? I will keep it open. So, are there negative marking in real exam? No. Thank you, Vescom. Thank you, Agan. Thank you for coming. It is fact for winners not today, because this is a training, and you will win your certificate, which will make your better job position, better salary, and that's real swag when you can use for. We are done for today. I will be happy to answer your questions on Discord chat. Also, I will be happy to find you and feel free to contact me on LinkedIn. I'm pasting the link to myself right now. Question from Rajib. Is updating few columns versus inserting all columns better considering Cassandra is column oriented? Um, in general, from the performance point of view, there should be no real difference because first it goes to memtable for SS for okay, first it goes to commit log. For commit log, there should be no principal difference as long as you don't use old hard disk drives. There should be no difference. For memtable, there also should be not so big difference. In general, if you're updating particular columns, you of course have to specify particular columns. So from the tombstones point of view, you see inserts do not produce tombstones. Deletes produce tombstones. So if you update part of the data, it doesn't create tombstones. It's partially relates to the thing, to the question we've seen today with reading from two SS tables and one mem table. There will be no tombstones because inserts create no tombstones. Tombstones are created only by deletes. Yeah. Any more questions? We are a little bit over time. Thank you everyone for coming. You did a great job. I'm very proud of you. And sorry so much for the issues with the network or whatever was it. How will we get vouchers for the exam? Very easy. You go to the academy.datastacks.com. Link is above. And you take your learning path. As soon as it's over, you write an email to the academy and you will get your, let me scroll down. That's a good question. So I want to repeat, how do you get your voucher? We are almost there. Yes, so when you get to the academy, the datastacks.com, you choose a learning path for administrator and developer. If you can decide, I recommend first to take developer, mostly because of a data modeling is included. Developer learning path includes DS 101 to 1 to 20, and 220 is data modeling. You can do, and I actually recommend you to do both learning paths. One voucher will be enough because one voucher give you two attempts. So mostly probably it will be enough for you. If you learn hard, you will be able to get two certificates from one voucher. And that's quite cool. XYZ asks, great question. Is Cassandra similar to Bigtable on GCP, Google Cloud? Answer is yes. They share the same idea. So the same principles. Bigtable is very similar to Cassandra because Cassandra was created earlier. What's the difference between Cassandra and Bigtable? Bigtable is proprietary and Bigtable is available only on Google Cloud. If you run your project on Bigtable and at some moment you are not happy with support or with prices, you cannot migrate anywhere. Migrating will require you to completely rework your database and rework the application what works with this database. Why? Because it's so-called vendor lock-in. Bigtable exists as a proprietary system only on Google Cloud. Take it or leave it. Apache Cassandra is platform agnostic, open source. That means what is developed by a community, you have full access to a source code of the Cassandra. You can compile it yourself if you want to. You can run it everywhere. You can use it on a Google Cloud platform as you could use Bigtable too, but take a look. If at some point you are not happy with the prices, what you can do, just create, let's say, Amazon Web Services or Microsoft Azure give you better price. Significantly better price, so you can save a lot of money. For example, then Samsung moved their user services from Oracle to another database. They decreased their expenses on the database basically around 40%. 40%. That was huge stockpile of money. So let's say you are not satisfied with the prices on GCP, and you have your database running on GCP, but not in Bigtable, but in Cassandra. What do you do next? You get the prices for Azure, from AWS, from Ali Cloud, whatever fits your needs the most. You decide what Microsoft Azure gives you the best price. So you spawn data center there, link it to the data center on GCP, build a single cluster out of that. Cassandra automatically migrates the data you need there. And after that, you just take down, decommission your data from the GCP. You decommission the servers, data is migrated. Now you are on Azure, and it may take just a few days to migrate. So with Cassandra, there is no vendor locked in. It's an open source project. What is platform? Platform agnostic, cloud agnostic. That's what I really like. Like you have the control over your data, not some cloud provider. With all my respect to Google Cloud, by the way, I'm a certified Google Cloud architect, and I actually like working with Google Cloud. But what I like the more, much more, is freedom. Freedom to decide which platform to use. Cassandra gives you this freedom. Is the voucher for the exam free for this workshop attendees? Voucher for exam are not for the workshop attendees, but you get your voucher, then you complete a learning path on the Academy. It is free. Thank you, Pankaj. Thank you. Thank you, Rajaram. Yeah, I did my best to make it interesting. Can we do both learning paths? Yes, you can. Thank you very much, Kumar. Thank you for coming. Voucher is not for the workshop attendees, but for those who will complete the learning path. But seriously, there is no difference. If you don't complete learning path, you cannot pass the exam. And therefore, that makes no sense for you to get voucher. Now, you will get your voucher on time when you complete learning path. And if anything happens, I just pasted the link to my own account, /Alex. So if anything goes wrong, reach me in person on LinkedIn, and I will make that happen. So don't worry. How long the voucher is valid? Voucher is valid for 3 months, if I'm not wrong, but there is a secret. Again, you are the best, you attended this session and stayed till the end, so I will tell you the secret. Voucher per se is valid only 3 months, but using this voucher, you can schedule exam afterwards. Voucher is used, it's credited to your account, and now you can schedule exam nearly on any moment in the future. So there is no expiration date as far as I remember, as long as the exam is available. But I do not recommend you to wait for too long. I'm not sure how long it all will stay free because, well, DataStax is happy to sponsor this, but both creation of the courses, supporting of the exam, it's all not cheap actually. So don't take it as a free exam and free education. It's not free. It's sponsored by DataStax, by us. And you better use it sooner than later, I would say. Hey, love to be with. Yeah, sorry for streaming issues. I'm very sorry. It's not a real exam, so not a disaster. I'm happy what you made it with a very good score. So looks like no more questions. That means what we are done for today. Thank you so much for coming. And the last slide I wanted to show is you are the winner. Go learn, go pass this exam. And that's going to be an amazing time working together on the same project. Have a great day, have a great week, and see you later. Now a little bit of music for you to relax after this hard work.